Hey all, we are gonna learn today 7-1, which is really a lot of vocabulary and a lot of algebra needed to set us up to be very successful for the rest of the chapter dealing with similar triangles. So in this video, I'm gonna go pretty fast. I might break it up into a few parts. Make sure you watch all the parts. Feel free to pause and take some notes anytime anything goes too fast. So let's get started. So here's all the phrases that we're going to be learning about over the next, I don't know, a few minutes. So the first one deals with ratios. What is a ratio? Well, this is a ratio, 3 out of 4. Notice you got 3 out of 4 problems right. Here's another ratio. Shaq made 7 out of 10 shots. Here's another ratio. 59 people voted yes out of 100 senators. So this is one way to write a ratio, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, that looks like a fraction. Yeah, that is one way to represent a ratio. What's another way to represent a ratio? Well, right here, 3:4, or 7:10, 59 over 100. All of those are proper ways, and you will see those in all different problems throughout the book. And there's one other way you'll see ratios presented, and we'll just run it out. 3:4, 7:10, 59 to 100. I do want to point out that if you see a ratio like that looks like this, hey, I got 4 out of 8 problems right, we don't really write it like 4 out of 8. Notice all these other ratios are already reduced. So instead of writing 4 over 8, we will always reduce our ratios 1/2. So instead of saying I got 4 out of 8 problems right, another way to say that is I got 1 out of every 2 problems correct. Okay, so that's the first word, ratios. So another way to say ratio here is all it is a comparison of two numbers. We got one number there and I got another number there. So like I just said, we're always going to reduce, and a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. The next phrase we're going to learn about is a proportion. Well, what is a proportion? A proportion is two equal ratios. So we say two equal ratios are proportional. Here are all examples of great proportions right here. How do I know they're proportional? Well, there's a little cross multiplication trick we do to check to see if they are proportional. So I'm going to multiply these two together, and I'm going to multiply those two together, and I'm going to compare them. So 4 times 50 is 200. And 5 times 40 is 200. Well, this is really good news. If those two numbers are the same, ding, 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 those are proportional. Let's check out the next one. I got 2 times 12, which is 24. I got 3 times 8, which is 24. Ding, ding, ding. This is another proportion. So these two ratios are proportional. And let's check out the last one. These are test questions where you got to verify yes or no, are they proportional? Well, I'm going to do this one here, and let's see, 5 times 18, if I use my calculator, is 90, and 9 times 10 is 90. So once again, this is the third example. All three of these are examples of two ratios that are actually equal to one another, so we call that proportional. Here's an example where it doesn't work. Notice 1 times 10 is 10, and 2 times 4 is 8. So these are not proportional. So this is a bad situation. So understand that not everything is proportional. The first three are proportional, and the next three, this last example is not. So far we've learned about ratios. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers, and a proportion is two equal ratios, and we have this verification trick. Okay, that's going to be part one. Be on the lookout for another video here in a second.